Hi everyone. It's been a little while since I've done an update on here. Things have been progressing in my journey of the road to new direction in what God wants me to do in this coming season. And I don't have all the pieces yet. That requires us to walk by faith. And God wants us to have faith. And sometimes in order to grow that in us, He brings us on journeys like this, where literally we are having to trust Him day to day to provide for all of our needs and give direction sometimes no further past the end of today. And that's kind of where I've been at right now. I've been in the process of evaluating a lot of different aspects in my life it's a transition period even for my family right now, where my son is going to be graduating from high school and he's my baby. He's the last one in the nest. So, there's lots of new things coming for my husband and I, and we're just trying to navigate, what does the Lord want us to do moving forward, as a couple, as a family, individually. And in doing that, I've also realized that my content that I post on here is going to be changing a little bit. It is still going to be Christian-based content, without a doubt. That is still going to be a huge part of what I do because God has called me to that. But I also believe in this season that He's also calling me to do two things. One, bringing back some of the old values. I don't know if any of you enjoy watching some of the old TV shows, but I do. And I've often longed for, I wish I lived back then. The pace of life was slower. Things just seemed easier. People were kinder to one another. And, I know we're all born in the time that we're born in for God's purposes. And I believe now that part of that purpose is for bringing some of the old ways back. And yes, that's kindness, that's grace to others. But I also believe it's going back to some of the natural things like, even improving our diets, eating things that are more natural and getting away from all the processed stuff, and gardening and homesteading and how to fix things. I believe those are all things that, if we don't steward them well, may be lost in future generations. And, if the world completely falls apart, there are kids who don't really know even how to grow a garden. And for me, that's hard to fathom because I grew up with it. So part of it will be that. And I also believe there's an aspect of trying to restore the family and family values and really family structure, biblical family structure. We have grown so accustomed to having to have, not want to in many cases, but have to have two incomes coming into the household where both the husband and wife have to work. But I also believe that we've come into a day and age where a lot of remote work is a possibility. And I think that for those women who would really prefer to, invest more time and energy into their family, and I'm finding myself in that right now because I've done the grind and try to get the better job and more hours and more money so you can afford this, that, and the other. And it really leads to nothing other than stress and missed opportunities with your family. So I believe that's another aspect of what God's going to be leading me into in my content in the coming days. So I hope you'll all stay tuned. I know some of you may unsubscribe because homesteading and family stuff is not something that you're maybe necessarily into in this phase of your life, and that's okay. There will still be just biblical teaching and prayer and that type of content in here. It's going to be mixed with some new stuff in the future. So stay tuned, and I hope you stay with me. Be blessed and have a wonderful day.